Hello again, this is ModelOmega, and welcome to Chapter 5 of my Thracia 776 playthrough. Well, that certainly isn't ominous. Lady Nana? Vial! Thank goodness you are alive. Are you hurt? No, I'm fine, but Marita, Marita, what happened to her? I don't know, we were separated as soon as we arrived here. Rydrick! What is the meaning of this? You said you would let me see my daughter. Did you lie to me? No, of course not. I'll bring you to your daughter, if... Vial, swordsmen are approaching us. What? If you can defeat my swordsmen, I'll let you see your daughter. What's the matter, Vial? The swordsmen are approaching. Vial? Nana, please stay behind me. That's not really behind, but whatever. Anyway, first off, that cut there was because I recorded the intro to this chapter separately, and I'm going to be doing that from now on, because if I fail, it means I don't have to replay the entire intro for the recording. It's, less tedious. So, this chapter definitely screams climax, at least for this part. I mean, we've got Vial back, but she's surrounded by powerful units. This whole place is basically a giant ring where we have to get from one end to the other. And there are tons of enemies here to attack us. Tons of mages, bowmen, armors, the whole 9 yards. And wow, those are the two main bad guys there. Oh Jesus, I hope I don't have to face those guys anytime soon. Strangely though, there are no actual reinforcements outside of those that appear in the center of the arena. Isn't that strange? So, Vial has to protect Nana from these people here because they will try to attack her. There is a small alcove on the right near the door to the arena where you can have Nana completely guarded by Vial, since none of these people here use ranged weapons. But remember to not have Nana directly against the door, because there are a couple soldiers that are within range, and if she's against the door, they'll go up to the side of the wall and they'll start throwing javelins at her, and that wouldn't be good. Oh, by the way, that chest there in the bottom right has a magic ring in it, which boosts your magic by 3 points when you use it, which is undoubtedly useful, but did they really have to put it there? To get to that, you actually kind of have to go around halfway of the map and back. I mean, wow, really? That's just wasting your time. Come on, game.
Ah, sorry to keep you waiting, Berdo. Well, you seem to have a lot of time on your hands. And this is not what you said you would be doing. Haha, you will see, Berdo. I see. Then I suppose I shall enjoy it while it lasts. It is all up to that swordswoman. I certainly hope she is as powerful as the rumors go.
So, in the situation here with Vial and Nana, you basically just want to keep each other alive up until you can get to the door in the top right where you can let them out. The warriors here still technically can't kill Vial. They will not be able to drop her HP to 0 by attacking her, but they will try to capture her if they get the chance. And you don't want that to happen, because if they end up capturing Vial, then you're kind of screwed unless you're already at the door, because they'll start going after Nana. So get up there quick, but don't go too fast. Vial can hold her own up until the really stronger guys start coming out, and you'll see they get much more beefier than what they look now. While the previous chapter was the first to really start throwing mages at you as a serious combat threat, this chapter has tons of them. And while they're not too threatening on their own due to their slow speed and low defenses, that huge group over there, when it gets to you, you want to make sure you're able to attack them first, because if it goes enemy phase and they can all reach a couple of your units, they'll just gang up on one and kill them. There's really nothing you can do about it. Thank goodness that, for some reason, Nana has a heal staff, and also her personal weapon, the Earth Sword, already in her inventory. You think they probably would have confiscated her stuff. The heal staff that Nana has is absolutely vital in order to keep Abel alive, and if she does have to engage in combat at some point in this chapter, the Earth Sword does a pretty good job of protecting her as long as she doesn't get double attacked. It saps health from enemies just like the Rosire spell or Nosferatu in later games, and the Earth Sword itself would later return, called the Rune Sword in later games. The great thing is, unlike Fire Emblem 4, where the Earth Sword had a measly 10 uses, making it really impractical because it'll break easily and then it'll just leave you equipped with a broken weapon that lowers all your stats. In this, just like most personal weapons, it has a full 60 uses, and it still attacks at range. It's pretty much the only reason why Nana could even be considered a, well, good military unit in this game, because her stats are actually really bad, which kind of confuses me because she has Hazel blood, which should give her a big boost to strength growth, but in this game, her strength growth is lower than Leaf's, which makes absolutely no sense, but whatever. The game mechanics didn't really translate well from the previous game to this one in the first place, so I won't complain much. I just remembered, I was rechecking some stats I talked about in previous episodes, and Makua actually has a pursuit critical coefficient of 3, which is the same as Othin's, but I still don't really think she's that great of a unit despite that. The funny thing about that mage is he's actually gotten harder to kill since I stole his tome, because it now doesn't weigh him down, and most of my units are not going to be able to double attack him. So I'm just going to have Karen get some easy experience off of him instead. Impressive. I see. Very good. Here's a reward. What? Ha, you. Bring her in here. Marita? Marita! Oh, Marita, you were alright. I'm so glad. Lady Nana, wait. What? Marita, answer me. Kill, 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 kill! I'll kill you all with this sword! Arrgh! Marita! Well, what is it like to see your beloved daughter? What have you done to her? Nothing. In fact, she was trying to escape, so I lent her a hand by giving her that sword. The Blade of Darkness, was it? Blade of Darkness, an evil sword. Were you trying to turn her into a crazed killer? There was a curse on that sword? Well, I never knew that. Don't play dumb! Why, you... Shouldn't you be worrying about yourself? I hear that sword is among the deadliest of its kind. Ha 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 ha. Rydrick? Marita, wake up! The sad thing is, Marita shows up in this chapter, but you're not actually going to be able to recruit her until way later in chapter 12. And it's a real shame because she is a really phenomenal unit. Anyway, like Rydrick said, he's given her a cursed blade, which is probably among one of the best weapons in the game, and she eventually does keep it when you recruit her, which is awesome. If I could ever just use the enemy's item placement to describe how hard this game is, we're only on chapter 5, and at this point in the game, enemies will regularly use psychic staffs to heal their allies from afar, and meteor or bolting tomes to hit you with devastating effects. Thankfully, they don't start using Blizzard until the very end of the game, but that one's even worse because for some ungodly reason, they decided that if you get hit by Blizzard, you get put to sleep. I don't even know how that works, but yeah, that's a thing in this game. by the way, that Dark Bishop there, that's with Rydrick, that's the final boss, Berdo. His stats will be the same in the final chapter of the game as they are now, and he'll have basically the same weapons as he does now. He doesn't have a unique class. I believe that would make him the only final boss in a Fire Emblem game to not have a unique attribute to him. The only thing that he has going for him is he has the Stone spell, which petrifies your units, and the only way to reverse petrification is with a very late game staff that only a single character in the game can use, which is a plot point, by the way, but we'll get into that later. The kind of funny thing is there, a bunch of my guys couldn't capture that priest despite him not having any weapons because his build was too high. That's just kind of funny. I mean, at this point, do you really need to be a thief to take a staff, a vial of water, and a vulnerary from an unarmed priest? I mean, couldn't you just go up to him and basically just, like, grab them? You don't have to be sneaky about it, but I'm asking the game to make too many assumptions on my part. I should probably just stop complaining. You'll notice here that I have Dashin holding the SETI scroll. This will actually boost his speed growth up to 50%, which is pretty high for an armor, although it's not as good as Gatry's 60% speed growth in Radiant Dawn. Seriously, Gatry probably had the best growths out of any Fire Emblem character, aside from Carl and I guess Wolf and Sedgar, but those are very extreme examples. You'll notice here that among the priest's items was a vial of holy water. In other Fire Emblem games, holy water was an item that, if you used, would boost your resistance by 7 points, and each turn it would drop by 1 until the boost was just 0 again. But, as I've said before, there is no resistance stat in this game, so using holy water will boost your magic by 7 points. This can be absolutely brutal with the right magic unit, and when you eventually get your ward staff, which is just like holy water, but you use it as a staff on another guy, it's instead called the M-Up staff, or Magic Up, and it does the same thing. So if you have a staff user that can use it, and you need to kill a boss, you can basically just use either that or holy water to get a 7-point damage boost. That's pretty great for this game. I don't use it too frequently because in this game, holy water only has 1 use, whereas in other games it has 3. Maybe they figured that with the magic and resistance grouping, it was a bit too powerful, but it does have its uses, especially later in the game when they start abusing status staffs, and having a higher magic means that they can't use them on you. This chapter is overall pretty great in providing a story moment that actually works really well through the gameplay, but I have to criticize it for being a very padded chapter. A lot of this is a bunch of individual enemy skirmishes that you just move in between as you go through the chapter, and it can take a couple turns in between each one. But overall, I think the rest of this chapter works really well. One thing bugs me though. Shouldn't those really burly guys in the center be maybe going after the escaped prince that they're trying desperately to capture? Actually, you know what? I take that back. What is this? She has the sword. Why is she having so much trouble? It seems that the sword hasn't taken over her heart completely. What? Impossible. How can a little girl like her? Her love for her mother is slowing her down. She's resisting the sword's power with all her might. Look, can't you see those tears? Alright, so a whole lot of the next part of this is me just moving all my guys up to engage the next group of enemies, and also checking a bunch of enemy stats and weapons for I don't really know why, I was just doing it for purposes. Anyway, I'm going to speed the next portion up just to save you guys some time. Oh ho ho, did you see that big burly warrior guy that just attacked Vial? That's an enemy unit we haven't seen yet. It's a berserker, as in the same class that's evolved from pirates in later games, or brigands. It's an enemy-only class in this game, and you don't want to mess with these guys, because they have a class skill that's tailored, so everyone will have it, and that skill is Wrath. Yeah. Also, this guy here, don't mess with him. I think you can probably tell just by looking at his stats and the two skills he had at the bottom. He's a very plot-important unit, but not until later in the game. But this is the first time you'll see him, even though he has no dialogue. Man, we're so close to saving Vial. We just gotta push a little bit further. There's not much to talk about at the moment, but there is one thing I can discuss, and it's Merida down there. You may notice that when Merida attacks Vial, she doesn't counterattack. I'm assuming that's because, well, Merida is her daughter and she doesn't want to hurt her. But you can also have Vial try to capture Merida, and if you do so, it does change the flow of events slightly, but not too much. And funny thing I didn't actually remember until now, having her attempt to capture Merida, Merida won't try to counterattack either. It doesn't really make much sense because they're already programmed to not be able to kill her, and Merida can't capture her herself, so Rydrek's threat was actually kind of pointless, but whatever, game limitations and such. Some things I can note about the sword Merida is using. It isn't called the Sword of Darkness for nothing. It's pretty damn strong. For starters, it's pretty powerful with a good might that's about the same as a silver sword. It has a reasonable crit chance of 20% that adds on, and gives the user the skill Nihil, which nullifies enemy skills in combat. In addition to all these great things, the Sword of Darkness also has a Brave effect, allowing the user to attack multiple times, just like Finn's Brave Lance. Pretty good overall, don't you think? Also, hey, Leaf upgraded his build again. He's gotten quite a lot of that. Also, the army of mages is fast approaching. Better get ready for them, for this could hurt. What are all these feeble-minded soldiers trying to prove by attacking Fergus? They're not going to kill the guy. Well, I mean, yeah, he's kind of maybe the only thing in range, but certainly these guys aren't willing to throw their lives away that blindly. Now then, not much to talk about again up until the mages come. So, to save more time on this hour-long recording, I'm going to speed the next portion up until my next player phase when I'm about to start attacking the mages. See you guys back in a sec. And now that we're back to relevancy, the time has come for me to take care of this army of mages that have come to make my life a living hell. Luckily, only one of these guys has a thunder tome. If they were all packing thunder, this would be even more of a pain than it already appears to be. As always, Leaf is a great tool to deprive the enemy mages of their weapons. Use them as much as you want. There's nothing better. There's a big problem I'm actually going to have to deal with in a couple turns or so. You see, once you open that door, The guys in there, they're gonna come after you. Dolls is at least leads the chapter, but if any of the previous people that Vial was fighting, aside from Merida, are still there, they're gonna go after you, and I have to end up taking out that berserker. And I got very lucky in how I took him out, and you'll see if maybe I had planned this, or if I'd done it out of sheer luck or stupidity, but, well, stuff like this can happen, I guess. I mean, when you see how I did this, I either brilliantly abused the game's AI and the game mechanics, or I was just a lucky SOB. I'm gonna lean towards the former. Yeah, the Armor Slayer may do a ton of damage to armors. That thing weighs like a ton of bricks. You better make sure that that thing's actually going to kill him in one hit. Or you're going to have hell to pay on the enemy phase when everyone loves to take pot shots at a unit that's weighed down so much they can't dodge attacks anymore. Just as a personal side note, the sound effect of the Thunder Tome in this game, the crackling of it before the thunder crashes down, it fills my ears with joy every time I hear that. It just, for some reason, despite just being a chiptune sound, it feels way more authentic and a more true thunder sound than anything else I've ever heard. In fact, just the tome sound effects in this game were all really well done. Sometimes, even though when you have your CD quality tracks and the authentic versions of what sounds should be, it just misses something from the chiptune era that gives it much more feeling and impactfulness. But maybe I'm just a retro guy. Who knows? Speaking of retro, I've been revisiting a couple games from the Nintendo 64, and one in particular, Jet Force Gemini. Yeah, anyone played that? Another game by Rare. It's a third-person shooter that looks all kind of cartoony and stuff. Kid looks like kids and a dog, literally, fighting bugs. But it's pretty damn dark and pretty vulgar as well. Ludicrous Gibbs. The subject matter is pretty dark. Man, remember when Rare mattered? Before they were sold to Microsoft, and now they just make Kinect games. I miss those days. I'm sort of realizing now that if I had left Laura in front of that armor and wasn't able to kill him with dodging here, the armor probably would have one-hit killed Laura. Yeah, probably not my most shining display of intelligence there. I is tactical genius. If you're wondering what those little sparkles around Merida meant, it means that she activated her Lunar Blade skill, which allows her to attack while negating an enemy's defense, which later came back in other games as the skill Luna. One thing that kind of actually bugs me about skills in later games is they tied them to classes, and I really liked it in this game and Genealogy, where basically the skills could be on anyone. Like, you can get a Mage Knight that knows Solar Blade or Soul in later games. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? And it's been way too long, so let's get Vial and Nana out of there. Nana, you're alright. Leaf, please, help Vial. She won't last much longer. Okay, leave it to me. Hey Vial, are you okay? Lord Leaf, you came. Thank you for protecting Nana. But Merida is still... Merida? Is something wrong with her? What? They escaped? Capture them! No, wait, kill them! It will be my responsibility if they get away. Kill them! Kill them all! Someone do something about that woman! She will kill us all! Friedrich, there is no need to panic. Leave it to me. I am so calling hacks on that. If you check this guy's inventory, he doesn't have any stats at all. So how the hell is he warping? Well, the rumors about your magic are true, I see. What a perfect statue we have here. Okay, we have nothing to fear now. Kill them all! Don't let them get away alive. Well, that just happened. Oh. That sucks. And that'll about cut it for this video, folks. So I'll see you guys in the second part of Chapter 5. Sorry this took so long to make, but school has been very busy lately. But I should be getting a bit of extra free time up soon, so I'll be able to get these out a bit more. See ya!